Now that the drivetrain is pretty much done, the next big task is the body. We're going to be taking it all apart and getting ready for paint. Stay tuned, this should be fun. One of the things that I wanted to do was to get the body up off the frame so I could finish working on the rear end and replace the leaf spring, and then be able to work on the wood on the interior, and then transport the body to a body shop and get it painted. I can't paint. I don't want to paint. I'm impatient. I'm not good at that stuff, so let's leave it up to the professionals to do that. So what I did to get the body up off the frame was I built a dolly. And so here it is. There were a bunch of mainly 4x4s. It's on rollers. I got all this stuff at Home Depot. And 2x4s for support here. It's wide enough that I'm going to push the car or pull the car out the front, and the body and frame and everything will stay here, and then I can move it around here in the garage and do that work. So let's see if I can pull it out, and hopefully it won't collapse. That was easy. Now I need to put a few more 2x4s on to support this a little bit better across here, and then I'll be able to move the dolly around as I see fit. So far, so good. So I'm really not sure what order to take apart all the body. For sure, the gas tank's going to come out, and all the rust and everything taken out of the inside and repainted on the dash and all that good stuff. So that's going to come out for sure. We got to take the top off, and then all the door panels, all the interior material that's in here. So I think what I'm going to do is start at the top and work my way down. So let's rip off the top and see what kind of a mess we're going to find here, okay? So what I did was I took the top off completely. The interior is off. I have the door panels and the window, the glass, and the regulators to do next. The wood, most of it is pretty good, actually. As I mentioned in my very first video, this car was out in a barn for like 40 years, if I remember correctly, what I was told. And so it stayed dry throughout all those winters up here in Grand Junction, Colorado, when it gets cold and wet. And so it looks pretty good for 94 years old. The railing on this side, the inside piece that connects to the inside of the opening of the roof needs to be replaced all the way back. 4 of the 6 bows up on top need to be replaced. The back part and the header, I guess you would call that, the header above the windshield, is in great shape. I can tell that above here, above the doors on the driver's side, that's been replaced somewhere in the past. The wood looks different. So we're not doing too bad here. And so a little bit more work here, and then we're going to take off the windshield, and then the fuel tank's coming out, and then we'll get to sandblasted the inside and get it all cleaned up, and then we'll go back to putting all the wood back in and getting that done. So more to come. Stay tuned. Okay, so the interior has all been stripped down, and we'll continue working on that. Once I pull the windshield off, and then the fuel tank is after that. So I hope it's not too tough. It doesn't look like it. There's just a bunch of screws in here. I think I can do this myself. Well, that was pretty easy. I was afraid of possibly dropping it, having it slide down on the motor, and that would not have been a good idea. Okay, so we have that out. Next thing to take out is the fuel tank. As I know, these screws up here across the cowling are they're rusted into the firewall, and they talked about getting an impact drill. And so I went to Harbor Freight, and for $100 I got a charger, a battery, and this impact tool. And it was the first thing I did was come back here and try it out. And sure enough, this thing worked great. And you can hear it with rusted up screws. It's doing its thing to get it out. So if you're going to take one of these tanks out, $100 is going to probably save a lot of time and frustration trying to use a regular screwdriver, slotted screwdriver, to get these screws out. So I've already loosened them up. I've got a few more. I've got to take this the panel off and these screws, maybe, I can't tell, and the ones underneath. And so I'm going to do that and get this fuel tank out of here right now. All right, so here's our tank on the floor. But what I wanted to tell you about is there should not be any gas in here. No leaking at all. Shouldn't be anyway. But this is the brace that the steering column fits through. And there, of course, there's a clamp that goes on and bolts on. And this is riveted in. You can see the impression from the rivet gun that was used here. And in my, I think it was my second Model A, I had leaking coming out from here. You got to remember, over all the years of the steering wheel rocking back and forth, you're getting in and out of the car, you're hitting the steering wheel, and it's putting pressure on this each time. And these I have known to leak. So what I'm going to do is take this to a welding shop. I'm going to have them cut this off completely, cut out these rivets here and weld a plate on here so that it's sealed. And then I'm going to go to the 1931. In 1931, they, because of that problem, that leaking problem, they created or they made a bracket that fits up underneath here and goes to the steering column. So I'm going to take this off. I'm going to put it on a new one. I'm going to eliminate any possibility of a leak. It does not look like it has leaked. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. It looks like this one's leaked right here. Somebody's put something on here and then painted it. And this one's a little corroded. Yeah, you see there? So that one's leaking too. So yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do here to get this thing fixed, and we'll never have another problem with gas leaking out of here. Then, of course, I'll do whatever's needed to get it all cleaned out, and then it'll be painted the same color as the body and pinstriping on here and make it look fancy. So, but this is a critical change right here to keep this thing from leaking in the future. So here's the end result of patching up where the steering column support bracket used to be. What I did was I drilled out the 3 rivets, punched them through to the inside of the tank. My neighbor, Marty, who restores cars and is a welder, because I'm not, offered to open this up, reach inside, pull out that support bracket or support plate behind the rivets, and then seal it all up, which he did. So did a great job. It looks really nice. He put this under pressure to make sure that there are no leaks, which there are not. And what I'll do now or sometime in the future is to wash this whole thing out and reseal it or seal it. And we'll be ready to go. By the way, you definitely want to subscribe to the channel. My next video, I'm going to be talking about the terrible tower tool. Anyway, hopefully you learned something from this video and the others. Subscribe like I mentioned, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.